What's up, everybody? Patrick from Just a Bit of Banter, and welcome to episode 10. We're calling it Wild Tuna. You'll have to pay attention to the banter segment on why we are calling it that. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items before we get into the episode. We had a bit of a technical difficulty around 30 minutes or so some of the audio cuts out, and we try to bring it back in as best we can, but it is a little clunky, so just look out for that. In this episode, you can expect us to go over the last 2 weeks of Brighton, Chelsea, and Man City games. Obviously, I'm a happy boy. Man City's top of the league. Brighton is succeeding far beyond their expectations. So we kind of get into that with Greg a little bit. And then finally, we come to George to kind of talk about his perspective as a Chelsea fan and some of the struggles he's had as a fan as they kind of had a slower start to the season than he expected. Thank you all again for being here. And here we go. Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Just a Bit to Banter. It has been a minute. We've been kind of crazy busy, but we're happy to be back. Quick housekeeping at the top of the episode. As always, like, comment, subscribe on the video. It just helps us get out to the general footballing podcast community. And you can always follow the podcast on Instagram and X at Just a Bit of Banter Pod. But with that, we are now, it's been 10 episodes, boys. 10 episodes into this wonderful podcast with you two, and then dealing with me and my demands in the back end. So it's been, how long has it been? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks.
So how have you boys been?
Very well. Some developments in my life, which I'll talk about later.
Okay. I think we saw one of those developments in the pre-show. We look forward to hearing about those later in the episode. George, how have you been? Did you get out to California for, was it Labor Day?
Yeah, went out there Labor weekend, spent some time with the families, parents, and siblings and cousins, all that. Yeah, man, it was good. Good to see them for a little bit. Haven't seen them for quite some time. Now we're getting back to reality now. So
snap back to reality.
Good.
Up there goes gravity.
Nope, it ain't that easy.
Can I say something funny real quick? So last night I was over at my friend Josh's house, and his dad was wearing a hoodie. And I started singing that song to him, calling him Eminem. That was so funny.
It's literally like the easiest thing to play on guitar. So I'll just have it sometimes and just be like, bum, 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 bum. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Eminem so much.
He's so good.
So talented. So very good.
I've been on like a 90s hip hop thing lately. If I do listen to rap right now. Yeah, Ice Cube's my guy. That's like my go-to, honestly.
Ice Cube's very
the
good.
Best. He's solid. Yeah, man.
I watched Straight Outta Compton in a hotel room recently.
Dude, the movie's so good. It's so well done.
Yeah,
for like a music movie. I've seen it multiple times, but I don't know if it was Greg's first time.
No, I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, anyways, we've got some games to get into, and we wanted to start at the top. Obviously, Greg following Brighton this season, slowly converting him to a Brighton fan. I wanted to let him go first because I saw the result of his game today, and very excited. You went ahead and beat United for me. So first off, want to start by saying thank you. But before you get into the United game, why don't you just catch us up on where your season's been? Obviously, we had the international break. We couldn't cover the games before then. We just kind of ran into some scheduling conflicts with Labor Day weekend. So we apologize for that. But Greg, the floor is yours.
Partying.
Yeah, that's the real thing. By scheduling conflicts, I meant we were partying.
Hangovers, and we couldn't get it together by 9 p.m. So we just had to skip. That's okay. What a season. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The last time we did predictions, I definitely predicted them to lose to Newcastle, and they won against Newcastle. That was so very surprising. And they won against United today. It was 3-1 Brighton, and then that was the same score. Brighton's kind of just keeping it steady around 3-1. I mean, there was a hat trick, and I can't remember what the guy's name was in the game against Brighton or against Newcastle. But But today it was Danny Welbeck. He had a score, and then I missed him because I was kind of preparing stuff and getting stuff ready for dinner tonight. So I missed the other goals, but my God, they were playing so well, and
You
United
did.
just looks so bad.
I know, it's great.
They
I
look
will
so bad.
say, preparing
Sorry.
for this episode, I ended up I kind of skipped through, so I'd say I probably watched about 45 minutes of the game today against United. And I mean, United came out pretty strong against you guys, but I am very impressed with Brighton. You guys sit fifth right now, and you survived the first 20 minutes, and that goal by Welbeck kind of sat United down a little bit. But there's
Yeah,
moments in that game with your composure playing out of the back, your ability to kind of move the ball forward and work through United's midfield was very impressive. I really I can see why my manager Pep talks about you guys do it. You guys play out the best out of the back the best, even better. I would say at times than City does.
I'm not familiar with this term "out of the back,"
It's where you know
but
how
I
like
assume that it
yeah
has something to do with steak.
you know how the keeper starts the ball and plays out to the defenders,
Hmm.
and then that's kind of how you work your way forward to the goal.
And the ball is what again?
That's how you call. That's what you call playing out of the back.
The ball, though. What was the ball?
What?
Never mind.
Yeah, it's not landing tonight, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think that Danny Welbeck, because this is against his former team, if I'm not mistaken, and he looks good, dude.
Yeah.
Brian overall looks good.
They do. They
I
really
can't
do.
remember his name. Is it pronounced Joao Pedro?
João
I can't
Pedro.
João,
remember. Joao
Is
Pedro.
he
Pedro.
Brazilian or Portuguese? Something like
He's
that. So it's
I
probably
don't know,
João.
Brazilian.
dude.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I think
probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
he scored one too on a one timer freaking rocket. Because
Yeah.
I have both of your games. I had one screen on this side and I just kind of split them, so I kind of watched them both.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so that's how I was watching both of your games. And but yeah, man, that was pretty good. I'm a fan of Welbeck. And obviously
Yeah,
my
he's
co
so freaking talented.
I can't remember the other
There
kid.
was some misses today, but overall, he was really, really solid of a
Yeah.
player.
Ferguson,
He did
that's what his
such a
name
good
was.
job.
Ferguson. Evan Ferguson.
Yeah.
When he got that hat trick.
Oh,
Yeah.
against Newcastle. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Newcastle.
That's
That's
been
such
weird.
a crazy
Newcastle's
game.
like a hit and miss season to start.
I
I
know.
mean,
Yeah,
they
and Brighton
suffered.
made that statement.
They did. Which is surprising, like that they lost to West Ham. I think you guys are going to struggle in the same way we do against teams like West Ham, where they sit back and they put 11 men behind the ball basically, and then look to counterattack. Because like when your teams come out and try and play against you, and they're a bit more open, you guys are just tearing them apart. It's really exciting to watch, honestly. And Matoma still continues to impress me. He's so good.
He's
Yeah,
incredibly talented. He's oh man, he's so good. He's just like always up there in the very I don't know what portion of the field it is, close to where the goal that they need to kick it into.
The attacking third.
The attacking, yeah. So he's just, and then he just gets in there and just he's so freaking good.
He's starting to sound like George now.
you're getting better, dude. You're getting better, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Good game today. Very, very physical. Very good. Manchester United at their stadium.
I know.
And
At
so
Old
the
Trafford.
one and they so the game would have been 3-2, but they had that goal that did not count by that
Yeah.
one their star player, I would assume, I don't know what his name is. He was very clearly out of bounds and he kicked it in and then he freaking got it and they were all excited, but they missed that goal.
You know, it's one
Thank God.
thing that I saw that back and clearly out. So VAR actually did its job for once.
Yep.
But the one thing that bugs the hell out of me with United is one, it's United obviously, but it's really Bruno Fernandes. He's such a talented player, but the guy whines all the time. all the time.
He
Like he's
does.
always in the ref's face. Like you guys had this like
He's always
back
like,
pass.
come on.
Yeah, he had this back, and it really sucks because he's a very talented player. Like, admittedly, very talented. I
He's not
watched
that good. He's all right.
I watched his game with Portugal. To be fair, against was it Georgia during the international break? I needed something to do because I was just losing my mind. He pulled the strings on everything in that game. And yeah, okay, it's just Georgia, whatever. But like he,
Roll Tide.
how did I know that the Roll Tide was going to get put in there? God
It's
dang
not
it.
even. It's a different state entirely, and you're talking about the country.
Yeah. Anyways, very talented, but God, just bitches all the time. All the time. He just complains and complains. I don't know if you saw that when they played a back pass and he thought it was a back pass that your keeper picked up, which you're not allowed to do. But immediately stopped playing, ran all the way to the ref with his arms out, complaining. I'm like, play the game, bro. This is simple, like 6th grade stuff. It's 6th grade stuff, SpongeBob. You just play the whistle. That was for you, Greg.
I love SpongeBob so much.
But
SpongeBob is my favorite.
Greg, another thing I wanted to ask you is you featured on our Good Friends podcast, Shades of Blue, this last
Shades
week.
of Blue.
How was that? How did that go on their lit
It
stream?
was so much. It was a lot of fun. I was admittedly pretty nervous about it because I didn't really know what it was before. And I thought it was, I don't know why, but I thought it was going to be more of a similar setup to this where we record it and then we post it later. But it was a live stream and there were actual people interacting with it. And they, they had it. It was so well, I mean, besides like me being nervous about it, it was so interesting. And they had a lot of different perspectives. They taught me something, and I'm going to sound really stupid when I say this right now, but I didn't know that these teams like Manchester City and Brighton and Chelsea, they also have women's teams under the same umbrella. I didn't know that. I figured it would be more like American teams where like you have the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury. I didn't know that they were all under the same umbrella. So for a while they were talking about people, and then they were like talking about these players that I'd never heard of. And then it turns out for the most part they were talking about the women's teams, and so I try to read a little bit about it, but very nice, very interesting, interesting guys, and I think that they seem to like me for whatever I had to offer, which is not much, as we know, when it comes to knowledge about football. I'll tell you what, I'm glad that I was the last person on their podcast, because the first two people had like so much knowledge about individual like people and like statistics and like, oh, remember this game and this time, and I'm like, I would not know any of that.
No, I watched it back. You did great, man. So thank you for representing us, and as always, thank you for Shades of Blue for featuring members of this podcast. I know, George, you have yet to go, but I think there might be some things in the works that I can't talk about yet to get you on the show as well. But please go follow our friend Shades of Blue. It's just let me make sure I get it right.
Shades of Blue.
Yeah, I think it is Shades of Blue.
Yeah, at Shades of Blue. I remember one of their Twitter got banned one time, so they had to change. They had to change their
Twitter
handle.
X, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever. But
Yeah,
no, they're I'm glad I checked because it is at Shades of Blue Pod. Make sure you go follow our good friends. They put on a great show, and they do something very different that we don't even do here. They like Greg said, they cover the women's teams. I just don't really follow a lot of women's soccer, so I don't have a lot to comment on it about. But they do a great job covering it, and it's a growing area of the sport that absolutely needs someone to cover. So good job them.
So
man, very good. That's good.
back to the Brighton game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm thinking that Brighton is going to be far better than anyone suspected. And I'm not going to take all of the credit for this. but I feel like it isn't just a coincidence that all of a sudden I started supporting a team and they're doing pretty darn well.
Just saying, you're the lucky charm.
Might be the lucky charm.
There you go. I
Somebody
still
who, never met him, not
I'm still,
contributed to their training at all. But
yeah, but it's just your aura in
my
general.
aura. That's my
I did a-
ego, is what that is.
I've been learning to deal with your ego for 2 years now.
Yep. It's been a whole 2 years, or I feel like it's been longer than that, bro.
Maybe it's 2.5, 3.
I feel like it's more like 4, bro.
Is it?
I feel
Yeah.
like it's been because
2 or 4.
at least sometime after COVID, or at least
Yeah, something
around
like that.
COVID or before COVID. No, it was before COVID.
Was it? Are you sure? I don't think that's when I met you.
I don't know.
No, it would had to have been after. It's somewhere in the realm of 3 years, I think.
We could probably check the tape.
Probably.
Anyway,
but yeah,
that's really
no,
all I had to say about the Brighton game.
Yeah,
They're freaking incredible.
I'm very excited for you, and I'm very excited to continue watching them. I know you and I have a game coming up against each other, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Can't wait to tell you how.
The other thing I am curious is this next week European competitions start, so it'll be interesting to see how you kind of manage through European competitions and the various league cups that happen that are going to start happening here soon, and we can talk offline about what all those mean and what it looks like. But
Well, I feel like I'm going to manage just fine because I've never been to Europe.
You'll probably be fine, but your team in general. I'm curious to see how they manage the workload there. George, do you want to go next? Because I don't know if you even want to recap your season so far. Would you like me to go next?
Man.
I'm going to take that as you want me to go next.
Yeah, go ahead, man. That's fine.
I don't know. He knows what you know why he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming.
I'm just waiting for it, dude. I'm serious, honestly, just waiting for it, dude.
His NFL team sucks. His Premier League team sucks. Can't do anything.
I'm gonna be
Dude,
watching.
the Cardinals are so trash. It's so frustrating. They had that game in the bag today. God dang it.
So okay, Greg, here's my chance to look like a moron, since you guys both know the NFL way more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I watched with my girlfriend. She's kind of part-time Cardinals fan. She's mostly a Chargers fan just because she grew up in California. But I watched the Cardinals opening game, and I have no knowledge of the NFL or anything, but my general, I guess, from what I saw from the game, is offensively they look okay.
Terrible.
See, I thought they looked okay, but then again, this is my knowledge. It's just defensively, guys, they're absolutely garbage. Like, everybody runs through you. But
it depends on what you're talking about. The opening game was not very good. They have this quarterback, Josh Dobbs, who today really showed that he is the man. I don't know if you saw that touchdown he had, dude.
No.
Today he had like a rushing touchdown, and he just like freaking ran through like a beast. But he's really good. Their offense is not very consistent, and the defense is always incredibly consistent. So that was the story in the first game, and in the second game, and in most of the games, because the Cardinals' defense is always great. So,
that's interesting. This shows my lack of knowledge, because I watched that game and I was like, defensively, you guys are.
Oh no, we're actually, that's the only thing that's good about our team consistently is the defense.
Got it.
Buda Baker is like the freaking, I think he's a cornerback or a safety. I don't know. He's everything to all. He's everything to all men.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I just thought, who'd you play in your first game?
The Washington Commanders.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Commanders. Anyways, I just thought they ran through you defensively every time. But
yeah,
obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. So
back to Premier League, Governor.
Yes. So I guess I'll go. City's had a great season so far. It's been awesome. We're undefeated.
Oh, really?
5 wins out of 5. It's great. And we spent, like a fraction of the money Chelsea spent getting there. So I will say this last game we played against West Ham, we obviously played against Lucas Paqueta, who we were looking at in the transfer window. And my first thought, I guess it wasn't my first thought. The only kind of negative, one of two negatives I have in the game is I wish we would have picked up Paqueta because I think he's exactly what we needed. He's very good defensively. He can keep play ticking over, and he's got this way of like driving the ball forward through the midfield that I think we lack right now with players like Kovacic out and KDB out. Obviously, they're both injured, so I think we really suffered at times in the game going forward. But overall, I thought it was like a great game. It was very back and forth. It was very exciting, and we ended up winning in the end. My really standout performance was Jeremy Doku, our new signing
Ooh,
on the wing.
that dude was
Yeah.
bad. That dude's bad.
So I mentioned Matoma
He
earlier,
scored, didn't he?
Greg.
Didn't he
He
score?
did. He got his first goal. I mentioned Matomo earlier, and I kind of wanted to save it because I knew I was going to be talking about Doku. But man, it is exciting. It's very exciting to see a winger that's going to take his man on and like cut in. And all game, he had Sufal in his back pocket and beat him. And if my second negative of the game is really Holland, again, had a very frustrating evening. I know ultimately he got his goal, and that's great. That's what he's there to do. He's still maintaining his goal a game record in the Premier League, which is awesome. But I don't know. It's frustrating at times when he has like 2 or 3 clear-cut opportunities and probably should be walking away with a hat trick. Again, I don't want to sound spoiled. We got the 3 points, so it's hard to complain. But man, Doku's going to be so exciting. And I remember when we signed him, remember what I was talking about with like, I would love to see a Raheem Sterling with Erling Haaland. Well, we kind of got a Raheem Sterling slash Matoma, combined player that can beat his man. And he's just so exciting. He's so good. He's so
He's
good.
fast. He's fast, dude. And like you said, like how he makes those moves and
Mm-hmm.
just takes them on. And
That's what you want to see.
and he's a tiny looking dude. I didn't realize how small he was. I don't know how height wise he is, but he's quick.
Yeah, he's a small guy, or he's not very tall, but that kind of helps him out. You got that. I mean, Sergio Aguero was small too, but he had that low center of gravity, and he's young too, so he's still got some time to bulk up a little bit, but be a little stockier, and yeah, I mean, he already maintains ball possession and goes past his players like nothing. So if he bulks up a little bit and a little bit stockier, then yeah, that height's going to help him, especially in the position that he plays. Now, I will say the one frustrating thing that came out of Doku doing so well is immediately seeing the city community on Twitter start bringing up like, oh, who starts over Grealish or Doku, or oh my gosh, Doku's already better than Grealish and all this stuff because he's got a goal. He's a goal scoring winger. Is to use Pep's words, he's a proper winger, and he is. But I really I find it rather frustrating that already people are back on the Grealish hate bus. I mean, I love Grealish. Yes, he can be frustrating. Yes, he slows plays down. Yes, you ask any City fan, yeah, he needs to get probably more goals and assists in his game to be the guy. But I mean, the guy was integral part of us winning the treble last year, and he's comes with £100 million price tag, which I'm sure creates this expectation about him. And he himself has said he's a bit too susceptible to comments on social media about him and feeling inadequate in the team when he first arrived. And I don't know, man. I wish it's somewhat one of those things of being I mean, I am going to sound very uh like I'm bragging here. Let me make my point and then you can talk your shit. But we really are becoming a victim of our own success with some of the fans that I see on Twitter. Is there's this expectation that we have to win every game, or that if we don't win every game, it's this crime against humanity. And I remember dealing with that a little bit, but do you know how hard it is to win every single game? to perform at the level we perform every single day, every single week. It's
Do you
incredibly
know how
difficult.
hard it is to be this sexy?
I know exactly.
Wake
Yeah,
up every day.
I take some wins for you guys, man. Oh.
Yeah.
But and then you throw Grealish into that, and like Grealish is the type of player I went back and forth as like on one of those posts I commented, and I had to say like, look, Grealish and Doku play different roles in this team,
They
so
completely
neither one is going to start over the other.
do.
And
And they
our
have different
friends,
styles. They have different styles.
exactly, and our friends over at Shades of Blue made a great point about, you know, maybe Doku's exactly what Grealish needs to push him and be like, oh, I can score goals, I can take my man on. But I guarantee you, when we have a game where is a bit more open, maybe like the game coming up against Brighton is a great example. You guys are going to come and try and take the game to us, and I'm really excited to watch it. If Grealish is fit, I would not be surprised if we see him start because of what he does. While he might not take his guy on or get the goal that you want, he's going to maintain possession for you. He's going to draw the foul. And at the very least, he's going to play the ball back and keep that possession and cycle rolling on. So he offers a lot more control than I think Doku will. And I think we have a problem in the footballing community, especially in the younger crowd, where they're so used to FIFA, where it's kind of always going forward and it's really quick play and it's all about pace and beating your guy and not necessarily understanding the finer points of the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't wait for that game
Dude,
because
I'm
I've been
excited.
so surprised by every single one, and I feel in my bones that that's going to be a game that I don't think we're going to win, and we might win.
Yeah,
We
it's
might.
very possible. You got enough quality in your team to beat us, especially
Yeah.
considering what the injuries we're dealing with right now. I think if we had our
Yeah.
full strength team, it's a bit more challenging. But with the injuries we're dealing with right now, yeah, it's super
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
But George, you were saying something about like their different styles between Grealish and Doku.
Yeah, like
Oh,
it's
let's
like you.
open it up for conversation. What
Yeah,
did you?
so so it's like you said, Grealish and is it Doku, right? Doku.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
They're
Doku, Doku.
completely, yeah. You can tell just by the way that how Doku kind of has the ball, he's dribbling, he's moving, he's making these moves. Like Grealish, he's more concerned, like he holds back a little bit, and like he doesn't want to have that role yet. Now, like you mentioned, and maybe the Shades of Blue says, it's maybe it gives them the opportunity to say, hey, you can go to the goal and you can do this, you can do that. And I'll be interested now to see, because you have Mateo that's out too, and
Yeah,
how maybe that lineup's going to be. Like you said, if everyone's healthy, you'll have Doku, you have Alvarez, and then you have Foden, and obviously it's kind of tough, especially with how Alvarez freaking played today. Oh,
yeah,
excuse me. That little freaking little freaking kick right over his head, and
yeah. The
oh
little
god,
lob. You know,
that was so nasty.
you know how I feel about Alvarez. Like he's my boy. I love
Oh,
that.
dude,
I love that guy.
dude, he just like it goes like barely over the guy's head, and
Well,
then
and Silva has the
it was
mind to
Silver, right?
make.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bernard.
he's got the right mind to make the run there, to just put it
Oh my
past the
god,
keeper.
it was disgusting. It was
Yeah,
nasty. That was, and but yeah, but anyways, of how that lineup is going to be, and like you said, like Champions League's coming in, all these European leagues are coming in, and they're going to need. I mean, I can't say it now because Chelsea's not any of that stuff, and it's gonna be more competition, more substitutions. Get some fresh
yeah,
legs in there.
rotation.
So the rotations, how it's gonna run, um, especially with Grealish and Doku, maybe switching it off, doing like the Wednesday Saturday or Saturday Wednesdays, however it's gonna be, um, and see how it goes, because I'm interested to see how Grealish is gonna react to that. Also with how long is Mateo out for? Is he out for a minute?
I don't know. I just heard he was injured. Let me look it
Yeah, I
up
thought he
real
was
quick.
hurt too. So yeah, because I'm interested to see how that's gonna line up, and also with I want to see more of your boy Lewis Rico, and then
Yeah,
like Ake, see him see so City has some options to do those rotations coming in, and I think with Doku in now, um, going to City, it's gonna help and benefit city in the long run, and get more playing opportunities for both, for all the players. And it'll settle down with Holland. It'll settle down with Alvarez and Foden. Foden just does his thing, and Julian Alvarez does his thing. I think it'll be all right. The game today, or excuse me, this weekend, with Holland scoring, Silva's freaking nasty goal from Alvarez, which is, oh god, that was beautiful. And then Doku scoring his first goal of the season, so that was nice, dude. I wish I could say this. See, I wish I could say this much more to the Chelsea side, but
Yeah.
we need a striker.
Well,
we
you
need a striker urgently.
you need a full. I don't know what you need anymore.
Oh, don't say a whole team. We need a strike. We need
Yeah,
to put some
no.
goals. We need to put some goals in that.
Have you not bought enough players already? Is the only thing I will say to that. You bought enough players. I thought you had a striker in Mudryk. Maybe he's just a winger.
Yeah.
You got rid of Kai Havertz. He wasn't a striker. Sterling's not a striker. Kuku's out. Anyway, to Kovacic, it looks like it's possible he'll be back at this Champions League. I would guess probably not, but if he is, it was just a back injury. So if he is going to be back, then it's going to be against Nottingham Forest at the weekend.
Ooh, Nottingham.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, no. But I mean, to your point with Alvarez, just looping back to him, it's obviously with Kev. Pep thinks he can do the Kev role, so he's playing him there. It was a great lob pass. I actually had to watch it back to realize it was Alvarez. I was just so excited about the goal, and I don't want to really get into it, but
yeah, it was like a back and then Alvarez got it, and then he just
I wasn't fully focused on the game this weekend. Did some other things going on, but in any case, I had to watch it back and realize it was Alvarez. But the comments from Pep following that game are very encouraging to me because I love Alvarez. He's one of my favorite players in the team. He has been since we signed him with Holland. I love his kind of underdog story a little bit more. Like Holland's supposed to do what he does. Alvarez walks into any Premier League team right now. Absolutely. And will be their main striker. Maybe not United, but he'd walk into almost any team and be their main striker. And he just does his job. His work rate's incredible. But Pep's comments following the game were he's undroppable right now, which is very exciting to me because he needs game time to keep him at the club, and I want to see him stay at the club. So as far as Rico Lewis, I don't know. I think we have to manage his development a little bit. Obviously, he had a real breakout season. He's a baller. He's great. But he is also super young. And I think he's getting the Foden treatment. Like Foden had a breakout season. And then, it took him a little while to get back into the game or into the team. And now it's only now that we're seeing him shine the way we want him to shine. So I don't know if we're going to see as much as from Rico Lewis this year. But it is still early. So like you were mentioning, we've got a lot of games coming up, especially once we get to November, December time when it's back-to-back games. We're going to need to rotate, and I'm sure Rico Lewis still has a role to play in the City side. But overall, I'm super happy with the performance. I do think Holland probably could have done better this game. But, I'm not going to complain. We won 3-1 against West Ham, and West Ham's playing really well right now as well. I think you lost to them, Greg. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I use Greg
Did Chelsea also lose to West Ham?
Yeah, but Chelsea loses to everybody right now, so it's not important. The real reason.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. I've been in your corner all
I see how there, man.
I have.
No. Yeah, but he's
not
anymore.
Smack.
Thanks, dude.
The main reason I use Greg as an example is
to
their team. Greg's team actually plays decent football and plays very similar to my team, and therefore you're probably going to struggle in similar ways to my team does. So the fact that we were able to beat
Winning
West Ham,
too many championships.
Yeah. The fact that we were able to beat West Ham in traditionally they would do well against teams like you and I. It's very, very exciting to see. But with that, looks like George dropped off. He really did. We scared him away just as I was about to go to him to talk about Chelsea and get a catch up on his season. So while he's away, Chelsea have had a horrible season. And it's kind of funny to watch because of all the hype through preseason. And I always bring up the money because if my club spent the money that his club did, you know, I would be reamed in the media.
Reamed?
Reamed. I'm going to use that word.
You know, let me tell you something about reams, Patrick.
Is this a paper? Is there a paper joke coming? I bet you there's a paper joke coming.
There was, yeah. There was a paper joke coming.
You see? Do you see how I connected the dots there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, ream. What else comes in a ream?
I don't know.
Ream of drugs? Do
Paper.
drugs come in reams?
That's a drug ring.
Ring. That's right.
I don't know. I don't think drugs come in a ring. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the drug world, so.
I don't know. I've never done drugs. I don't like them. They're bad.
Okay.
Mr. Mackey taught us that.
Drugs are bad.
I just took that to heart. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yep. Let's go to George and Chelsea. I'll talk about it in the just the intro. I'll just make a quick. Hey, we had a technical difficulty, so. George, go ahead and update us. I know I've talked a lot of shit, but seriously, I know you're kind of having a rough season, so feel free to update us.
Yeah, man. So today we had our
You couldn't
game
even
today.
Bournemouth, right?
Well, we did a draw. We got a point. We got something. We got something out of it. And so I guess the latest one we got, I don't know if we did the Luton Town one. We won that one. So we got points on that one. We did lose during I think it was during the Labor Day weekend. We lost to Nottingham. Lost 1-0. So lost that one. And then it was the break. And then now we got today. We had Bournemouth today, and yeah, we had some opportunities, and we just cannot put goals in the net right now. It's very frustrating because there's good opportunities in there, and I know we've talked about this before, Patrick and Greg, about about the maturity of Nicholas Jackson, of how they need to develop him, and with Doku out, he's our striker right now. So, it showed today like how he had some good looks from across, and just like little tabs, and it just goes off. He's going towards the goal, and he's going on the off angle on the left hand side, and he looks like he's going with the left foot, takes a shot, but goes straight to the audience. So he couldn't get a good target on it. Mind you, he was running pretty quick, but yeah, it just showed. I think it's just needs to have more develop with him, Nicholas Jackson wise. Sterling today, I thought he played okay. He would have been better if he would have made that free kick today, which would have been awesome. It was a blow to the heart when all of a sudden it's curving in, and it goes cling, and it goes down. It looked like it went in, like it just maybe. I forgot what the announcer had. He had said. He said cat whiskers, just cat whiskers away is what he said. The audience, the guy who said it, the commentator, excuse me, yeah. And then once it came out, Caldwell was trying to kick it in, but he was just offside. So oh gosh, it was they could have had that one. They had good opportunities. Gallagher had a good shot on target. Sanchez made a couple great saves today. One with the kind of, they kind of guess it right when they're going out for it, and then they stick their foot out. So one hit the foot, one did a really nice save with his hands, diving for it. But man, it was, they had good opportunities. But again, they somehow can't put numbers on the board. And And then we just got the news with Caicedo out right now with his knee injury. So go figure with that, right? So
Oh
I
man,
don't I
I
don't
never
know.
want to laugh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at an injury. It. I. I never want
Yeah, you
injury on a
do. Go
player.
ahead, say it. Just goes to Chelsea. Go ahead. And we spent
No,
what $110 million.
you've spent $1 billion with a B.
Oh no, you're
No,
probably right. It is Billy.
I no, seriously. I don't want injury of any player. Of course not. It's just rather comical now the amount of injuries you have in this star-studded squad,
Yes, and
and you can't manage them. Like I've got injuries as well, but I'm managing.
yeah, it's a bummer, man. And with they should have won this damn game. They should have won that one and freaking Nottingham. I should have 6 points right now.
Yeah, you should. And I think we've talked about this before. We've talked about this before.
Maybe it's hard.
Uh, but,
Oh God,
but
man! But
uh,
they just can't. I don't
you lack
understand.
maturity.
I don't get it, man. But I tried calling Pochettino, but he's not responding.
Oh, he didn't answer. He didn't answer your
No,
texts.
maybe because I'm
He
calling
left
from
you
the
on
states.
left
And
you unread. You tried to slide into his DMs.
I tried, man. Hey, man, what WTF, dude? What's going on?
You and 100,000 other Chelsea fans.
Hey, man.
And you can't even sleep with him. So like you have not much to offer, frankly.
Yep.
It sounded harsher than I meant it to, but like
I don't know. I'd sleep with you, George.
I would sleep with
man.
you.
Yeah, dude, and just to show of Chelsea's of what I think of it is just I just want to win, dude. I just want to dub.
I mean, I get it from a fan's perspective. It's got to suck, but your team has like because I watched your game today. You played today, yeah?
Yeah, we had the early game.
Yeah, okay.
We had the early one, yeah.
You just I feel like I sound like a broken record now, but you look like you have no. I don't know what kind of game you're trying. I don't know if you're trying to go direct. I don't know if you're trying to counterattack or pass it. Like
From what it looks like they're
you have
doing
no direction.
Is what it is what it looks like because they're never going for it. They don't want to go for it. I don't understand. They want to keep going back and they just need a leader out there. And I don't think. Oh my gosh, excuse me. And I don't think that Thiago is the guy as a captain just because he's older and maturity. They need to have someone when Reece James comes back. He's a good solid leader, and you know who I wanted to see step up more too is Enzo because his how he plays
a lot of scrutiny. I think hasn't
he? Yeah,
a lot of criticism, I should say.
Correct. So it's
what are the criticisms about him?
About his playing and like acting up to the refs. Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I just saw there was like a tweet talking about his criticisms, or Pochettino had made a comment about, Enzo in particular and him still playing Enzo. But I don't, obviously you're the Chelsea expert here, so I don't know exactly what those criticisms were.
I know when he made, I think when Pochettino said that, I think it was after the Nottingham game. I don't think it was this one. But how he's still playing him. I know that. Yeah, I think he's kind of forced to right now because no one really is that person to play in that specific position right now. And I know you hate me hearing say this is they should have signed maybe a better person to possibly fill in those boots, but they already paid Enzo a god amount of money too a couple seasons ago.
I mean,
actually, 34. I don't know how many seasons.
That's the other thing is like
it's like they have no salary cap, dude.
Their loophole, the way they're getting around it, and I hate talking about football finance because I just want to watch the games. But from what I understand, the loophole on how you're getting around it and like financial fair play is that's why you have like your 8-year contracts. So you're paying this money out over this long ass time. But yeah, like you're not going to like this, but you guys honestly kind of are starting to remind me of United. You're a team that like you have no soul right now. You've had history and you've won things, but right now you guys have no sorry.
Yeah. No,
You
I
have
get
no
it. I get it.
direction. Um, you got a lot of players, but no one knows what they're doing. I mean, at least United under Ten Hag kind of, sort of, uh, has some sort of like we want to do this type of play. I just you playing Bournemouth today and drawing. I just looked at the table. You guys are 13th and 14th.
We're 14th now.
Um,
Yeah,
but
we're 14th.
you guys, I mean, yeah, you kind of play like a lower mid-table team right now.
They are on the
You're,
verge of
the,
if
the,
they keep playing like this, dude, and no,
you're not going to get
no,
relegated, but
but they're going to be on the bottom. They're not going to
yes,
be any European competition at all.
no, you're
And
not going to. I don't think you're getting European.
uh,
Not with how Liverpool and Tottenham are playing right now.
yeah,
Plus,
they're
you got to
playing.
deal
They're
with
playing.
Brighton.
Yeah, and and we're still early, dude. We're still only in September, so it's still some roots to develop with, especially with the injuries coming in, and now with Caicedo out. Same thing with you with City with injuries coming in, and when we get Nkoku back and James back, and probably early to 2024. Don't know how we're going to be in the table by then, or where City's going to be at the table is. Maybe Brighton will be at first. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But at this point, where how we're playing right now and how we can't get a dub from Nottingham or Bournemouth. No disrespect to them or
You should
any
be winning.
fans
No, absolutely.
listening. It's just with the players we have, the coach we have, and maybe Patrick. Let's see how does it work. So you have Pochettino and you have Pep, right? You have as the head coach or the manager, excuse me, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have your assistants, right? And
Yeah.
then is there one for offense and then one for defense? Can you correct me on that?
I don't know. I mean, they've got a couple of advisors that, yeah, probably specialize in areas. I know sometimes they'll bring in like a set piece or a specialist and a goalkeeping coach, but
Right.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think there's like a offensive and defensive coordinator, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, because I'm always interested in like when the players are getting into the game and they always have like their tablet out or whatever they have. They're
Oh,
going over
yeah.
some things,
Yeah.
and maybe they're just getting bad advice from them. I don't know. I don't think it's maybe 100% on Pep, not 100% on. Excuse me, not goodness gracious. You guys have 5 wins. What are we talking about? Pochettino maybe taking the hit on it because he's the manager.
Yeah,
And
I don't
so I
know.
don't know how that works. Like maybe they're getting bad advice or how they're playing.
I honestly think you just have an entire.
They have name players is what they have right now.
I don't even know. Like, you just have an entire cultural issue at the club right now. Like, I don't know if you know what you're doing. Yeah, I really don't. Like, you're investing in kind of in youth and young players and revitalizing the squad. Okay, but like, there's no clear path or direction on where you're going. And to be fair, I don't follow Chelsea, so maybe there is, and I'm just talking out my ass. But like, I don't. Just from what I see on the field, you guys are like, what are you doing? And
They have
honestly,
their
you should throw the Premier League and just focus on like a cup competition or something, so you have something. Even if you don't win it, like, go far in like the FA Cup or something, because you're not gonna win the Premier League. Everybody knows that, and you're not gonna get Europe this year. I don't think you're getting Europe.
By the way they're playing as right now, negative. They're not going to be
Yeah, but
anywhere close.
even still, by the time you get your injuries back, who knows what the take? I mean, to be fair, that could go both ways, But you know, by the time you have that time comes around when your players come back, but everybody's gonna have their wins.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is the Premier League, and anything can happen. So I'll give you that. But
Yeah, that's true. But for our sake too. I mean, throughout these games, that's how we started. Chelsea only got 2 goals,
There's
maybe
that.
maybe 3, but I think it's 2.
The other
And
thing
and,
the other thing you got to consider is like, you know, can you reasonably say that you're going to take points off the top 6? I mean, that includes Greg's team. You beat them already, didn't you? No, that
no,
was preseason. That was
That was
preseason. I'm sorry.
preseason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we play I think towards the end. I think
Yeah.
But
or December or
like,
something like that.
can you reason? And again, this is early days, so a lot can change. But you reasonably think with the squad you have right now, you're not taking points off the big 6.
You never know. Like when we play City or we play Arsenal or we play Liverpool or Spurs, whoever, they might just be overwatching and they might just fall asleep. Kind of like how Chelsea fell asleep with Nottingham and expecting to win. So still, you can't be going to sleep on them, man. So you never
Yeah.
know
Okay. So
how
maybe you're in a mindset of like, yeah, it's a big 6 team, and you take. I mean, I see that all the
it, it,
time
it'll be
with
it'll be
games against
no
City.
it'll be no stress on me. It'll be more stress on you guys. You
Yeah,
can't be losing against Chelsea because
that's a
we're
good
15th
point.
place compared to 1.
Yeah, those aren't
Then
the
I'm
games.
then I'll
Those
be
aren't the
giving you
games.
crap.
Yeah, I mean, those aren't the games we need to beat. But then I'll turn it around on you. Like, okay, you beat Luton,
Oh, you can't
great.
do that. No.
Everybody's gonna beat Luton. But you've already said it. Like Nottingham,
Luton Town.
you gotta pick up points against those. You got to be picking up points against, you know, uh,
Well, we got Aston Villa
Bournemouth.
next week.
Frankly, man, you're gonna lose. Sorry, Villa's playing well right now.
They're gonna win.
Damn. That is quite the take, gentlemen.
But yeah, dude,
Quite the take on all the games.
That's how I feel about Chelsea right now, man.
Sure, it's frustrating. At the same time, I gotta laugh because of all the. We're gonna have a great season through preseason. 14th.
Well,
but with that, let's Greg, welcome back from getting your energy drink. I'm glad you got that energy. I'm glad you got that energy in you because we're gonna throw it right over to you for the banter segment. So what do you got for us today?
Segment for you today. I've had so much banter. I've had so much time to think about the banter. And I feel like time is my biggest enemy because when I have time to think about things, then I think
too much about them.
Other things sound better than the things that I should have thought about in the beginning.
It's fine. We'll just scrap it all and start over, bro.
We'll just scrap it all and start over. Basically, I'm just going to talk about seashells.
Oh, seashells.
I saw she sells seashells down by the
seashore. She sells seashells down by the seashore.
There we go.
Which is a good segue into what I was actually going to talk about. Which
I want a
segue.
Show. I've always wanted a segue.
I would love a segue. I feel like they're impossible to fall off of.
You would find a way. You would find a way, though.
I would find a way, though. I feel like I've seen people fall off them in really comical ways. Also, white people are just generally clumsy. And when they fall off things, it's funny. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I find it really funny. Here's what I'm going to tell you about this television show that I've been watching recently. It's called Wicked Tuna.
I think we just found the episode name.
And it's about tuna fishermen out in North Carolina and in Massachusetts, I think. And they go out on these boats.
They fish tuna out there?
They fish it. That's where the North Atlantic bluefin tuna are.
Okay.
And these fishermen, they have to earn their living one bluefin at a time. That's what they say in the television show. And it flashes on the screen. So the biggest thing about this television show is it's incredibly repetitive. So repetitive with what it does, because it's all they do is they go out, they try and catch fish, but it is so very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining. I love watching it. There's all sorts of different parts of you that you can latch onto. One of my favorite things to do is to guess how much the fish is going to grade out at, because they catch the fish and then they drive the boat back on into the harbor, and they sell it. They take the fish to the market. And they're going to sell it to the fishmonger. And the fish man, he tells you how much he's going to give you per pound. Now, no money is ever exchanged on camera,
The innocents.
not even a check.
The names were changed to protect the innocent.
The names were changed to protect the innocent. These are their stories. But
Dun, dun.
another interesting thing that I found about it is they're always even dollar figure amounts,
Well,
somewhere
yeah.
in the neighborhood of like $8 a pound to $30 a pound. I've seen all in between. But why don't they negotiate like at all? They don't have any. I
There's
guess they don't
probably
have any negotiation.
because there's probably set prices on what it is before you go out. That it's going to
It's
be around
television.
here.
Yeah, well, that's why they call it market value, dude.
Yeah, no, I guess that's fair. I would just argue, be like, yo, give me a dime extra per pound
I was like, no, I'll go over
on
there.
500 pounds. An extra dime per pound?
Yeah, and exactly. In my perspective, if I'm the fish buyer, I don't want to pay an extra dime on 500 pounds.
Exactly. Let's haggle a bit. Why don't you? What if you could pay 50 cents less per pound, and the guy would still take it? Like, why
Because
do
then
you?
he'll go over to my competitor. That again, it's a market value thing. Those things are set. It's a commodity, so they're set. This is how the world works, Greg.
Yeah, but what at the time? By that point, they've already gotten the dress. They've already dressed the fish to weigh it out for how much it's going to weigh out for the grade, because only a certain part of the fish is obviously valuable, and you can sell per pound for X amount of the fish. So they cut the head and the tail off basically, and then they cut a sample of the tail steak, and then they take a core sample. They take this long like needle looking thing, and then they stab it in the fish, and they pull it out, and they push the sample of the core out onto like this little plate, and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
that looks good.
They're grading the fat.
Yeah,
right?
grading the fat content, grading
Oil and
the
all that stuff.
clear the clarity of the
Yeah.
of the core sample. Nice clean meat.
Yeah, again, man, I'm
meat
telling
on the
you that
deck.
there's already people who are setting these numbers prior to
I
them
know.
going
No,
out.
I know. I know.
So to
I know.
negotiate on is like, it's you're wasting time.
I
Yeah, dude,
would.
that's
I
why
wish.
that's why you go to Costco, man. You go to wholesale.
I feel like it would be so much more
Bringing
popular.
it back to Costco, bro. Like way back episode 2.
I'm waiting for it to come out of me, dude.
I have a love-hate relationship with Costco.
Wholesale.
Yeah, we know. We went over it. We just wanted to
know.
bring Greg. Have you?
We
We're gonna
talked
ask
about-
you like every couple of episodes. Have you been to Costco yet?
I don't like Costco.
Yeah, I know you don't
Dude,
like Costco.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Wouldn't it be slightly more interesting if there was a little bit of back and forth when there's negotiating of the fish price? Like maybe the guy comes in, I'm thinking, $80 a pound. He's like, I'm thinking like $13 a pound.
I
And
mean,
we're like,
as
meet in
far
the
as
middle
TV
somewhere.
goes, yes, that would be
$14.
That would be more interesting for sure.
Because that's why Pawn Stars and all the other copycat shows.
You know,
are,
Pawn Stars was like mostly fake though. I mean, it's
Of
TV though.
course.
People watch it. They don't
Of
care.
course.
Well,
It's
The
yeah,
Bachelor.
fake.
The Bachelor's fake, so no one cares.
Yeah,
The Bachelor's
yeah.
so fake.
You gotta remember, dude,
I've
it's
only ever
reality.
watched.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
I've watched The Bachelor with my sister.
I think
She loves that show
what
so
we've
much.
established here is TV executives. If you need someone to talk about making your show more interesting,
Mhm.
you should reach out to Greg Caith. Sorry, Greg Caith at 123-456-789-001.
0
Extension 999.
999. Get at me.
Get at me.
That's my direct line. I have a bedside telephone set up, and I answer
It's
calls
red.
late night.
It's the red line.
Call in, talk about your problems, talk about how your man's not taking care of you. And
But I will say,
I'll
I
tell you.
understand why you find it interesting because I actually do have something to piggyback off of in the banner segment. I
Go ahead.
found while scrolling through Instagram this
Mhm.
guy that catches lobsters. And I don't know his handle, but he always comes up And every time I click on his profile, and 30 minutes later, I'm still watching it. Why?
Yeah,
I don't know, because I don't
it's
know anything about
fascinating.
it.
I
But
love
did you
lobster.
know? You ready for this lobster fact of the
I
day?
love lobster facts.
If you
Lobster
buy
fact.
a Maine lobster, it's probably not a Maine lobster
I
because
did know that.
it's too large most
Yes,
of the
I
time.
did know that.
And when they catch lobsters and they see that they're breeders, they have eggs on them, they can't bring them back, and they notch their tails and throw them back.
Yes,
So
Mhm.
they're called eggers.
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
There was
you've
that
seen the
video
same
of that
thing I
guy.
have.
Yeah, and it sounds like he was saying the N-word because he
I
was
don't think
on
he
a
was saying the
fishing
N
boat.
word.
I don't think he was either. He definitely wasn't. He held a lobster in his hands that had a bunch of eggs on it. And they called them eggers.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just an egger sounds weird when you're just kind of on a boat, probably drunk from the night before. I don't know. I don't know if fishermen drink a lot. I would assume they would. I
Maybe.
would if I was a fisherman.
But that is my contribution to your wild tuna segment.
I love
is
it.
that I found a lobster channel that I spent way too much time watching.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Love me some lobster.
But
Lobsters.
Anyway, that's all I have here for the banter segment, boys. Let's
whoa,
get
wait,
into.
wait. I said at the
Oh.
top of the episode that we'd hear about some updates in your life,
Oh, in my life.
and
Oh,
we heard about them off camera.
we heard about him off camera.
Ladies, I'm
We sure.
sorry, but Greg
Ladies
is
and
no
gentlemen,
longer.
we got some breaking news. Greg,
Boop, boop, boop,
Breaking-
boop. Greg is
breaking
no
news!
longer single.
That's true.
I bet.
I am no longer
Young
single.
Greg has a girlfriend. Sorry.
Aw,
Yes, that's true. I do have one of those now.
she subscribed to your OnlyFans, dude.
She sure does. That's how we met, actually. She slid in the DMs because she buys the feet pics off the OnlyFans.
Yep, we've
Man,
talked about this.
It was like, yo, I'm trying to see the rest of you.
She's like, hey, I'm trying to get this for
And
free, man.
I was like, that's gonna be $16.99 a month. And she was like, cool, I got you. And so then she paid for one of those private sessions. And, those are like, $60 an hour, obviously.
No.
And then
they're
1
like
hour
$10
turned
an
into
hour.
they're like 3
hour?
hours. No, the private sessions? Hell no. I'm
I
making
mean,
at
for
least
you.
60.
For
For
you.
me? Yeah, for me. And so then it turns out that she didn't even really like my feet pics.
Oh,
But
she did like your face
and
pics. though.
we went out on a date. The first date was to a barbecue restaurant. And she did the all-you-can-eat ribs challenge.
Nice.
And she won.
She really is made
She
for you.
ate 3 full racks of ribs.
She's a beast.
God bless her.
Yeah.
God bless her.
It was crazy.
Anyway,
I like a girl who can eat.
I bet you do. That's how she deals with you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I like.
Get
So
nasty, man.
she came over tonight, and we
George,
had
you tell her about the nose pinch yet?
the nose pinch.
We'll tell you about the nose pinch
oh
offline.
yeah, dude.
I don't know if I want to know about the nose
We'll
pinch.
tell you about the nose pinch offline.
Okay. That's probably something that you'd get censored for. Yep, I have a girlfriend now.
That's awesome, man.
Have you heard that song by Real Big Fish? She has a girlfriend now.
Probably,
It's a
but
ska song.
I can't hear it off the top of
I'm
my
so
head.
embarrassed to admit, but I freaking love ska.
Dude, I love ska. What's wrong
I
with
love
that?
ska. So getting your skank and just like me.
Dude, ska's the best.
I love it. It's so good. I don't know why people hate it so much. That's what I don't understand. Other than the fact that the people who play it usually are
Kind of annoying.
heavy drug users and pretty annoying. Yeah, but who isn't? And musicians
A heavy drug
are the
user or
worst.
we really
Annoying.
are.
Both.
We're
Both.
terrible.
Terrible.
We're awful.
I don't like hanging out with me. I'm surprised anyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Which is
like
why
I'm so demanding at times. So
it it's like not really normally breaking news when someone gets a girlfriend, but it is in this case because
Yeah.
I'm the worst person.
A musician actually got a girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm just a terrible human.
Don't
being.
join a band for the girls, people.
Don't.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Trust
It
me.
does not work. It does not work.
It doesn't work.
Nope.
It doesn't work.
Well, boys,
That's all
with
I
that,
had.
let us head
Predictions.
into predictions and wrap this bullshit of an episode up. George, we'll let you go first because Greg and I, we've got 2 games this week.
Yeah.
Huh.
Actually,
Well,
we're playing September 27th because I have Athens on September 21st, and then next game is George and I.
No, the next game is Bournemouth, and then
yeah,
you have
Bournemouth.
George that following. We'll talk about that game in the next episode.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
You're looking at the
Sorry.
wrong. You're
I am
you're on.
looking at it.
You're
I'm
on
looking
Google.
at it incorrectly.
If
Yes, I
you're-
know. I understand
yeah.
what I did wrong.
Yep.
So we're home because Aston Villa next week. 1-1.
Okay.
1-1.
I'm sticking with it. I cannot go against the team.
Yeah, I mean, nor should you. Greg?
All right. So the next game for us is going to be Bournemouth, and I'm going to say 3-1 because that's that's been our status quo. So I'm going to keep it.
Oh, you're not going to go and give a prediction for George's game?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's how this works. Aston Villa at home. I'm going to say 2-1 Villa. I'm sorry, George. I want to be right.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1
I like
Villa.
you as a person, but I also like being right.
Yeah, Chelsea's not going to beat Villa. Sorry.
3-1, you said, Patrick?
Yeah, 3-1 Villa. Well, Greg said 2-1. I said 3-1. But
that's fair. Right.
Greg, we'll go to you. Yeah.
Gregory?
Greg, we'll go to you next. You got your first European competition coming up this week, buddy.
Athens, and I don't really know.
I don't even know who they are, but they're probably
anything about this team or anything about how we play in this sort of thing or how this goes. So I'm going to go 3-1 Brighton because that's what Brighton's been doing. 3-1 Brighton and save your breath, sir, asking me what they're going to do against Bournemouth because they're also going to do 3-1 against Bournemouth. Every single time. It's going to be 3-1 every time. So 3-1 Bournemouth, 3-1 Bournemouth, or 3-1
across the board, huh?
Brighton. We're just gonna put 3-1 Bournemouth for every game going forward.
Everything. I just don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up soon. It's getting late here for me too. Jorge.
See the Athens game. I'm gonna say 2-0 Brighton, and the Bournemouth. I'm gonna piggyback on that. 3-1.
Okay.
Brighton.
I'm gonna flip the script here. Athens, you're gonna have like 4-0 because I don't know where they play, but it's obviously some Greek league. But you guys are doing well, so you get a 4-0. And then for Bournemouth, I'll go 2-1. I think Bournemouth might be a little bit tough because I think they'll sit in, but I think you're gonna pull out the win. 2-1 Brighton.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
All right, and then City, who are you playing?
Okay, we've got Red Star Belgrade, I think it is, in the Champions League.
The Red State.
Yeah, I think I can see us playing rotated, but I'm still gonna go 4-0 City.
4-0.
And then we have Nottingham at the weekend, right?
Nottingham.
So I will go 2-1 City for that.
2-1 City.
Yeah.
Damn.
Boys?
I will say the Man City Red Star game 3-0 City.
10-0. I'm kidding.
And then City and Nottingham. I'm gonna say 4-1. 4-1 City.
Okay.
I was gonna say the same exact thing to both games.
Ooh, bring it
4-1
back.
against Nottingham and 3 and what is the name of the team again? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Red Star
Uh,
Red
Belgrade.
Star,
Belgrade, I think.
Mother
Oh.
Russia, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yep, that's what I got.
Sweet.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, another episode
Thank
in
you
the
so
books.
much.
Thank you, friends.
Episode
As
10.
episode 10 done. Like, comment, subscribe. Just a bit of banter pod on all the socials, and we will see you in the next one. Boys,
You
later.
Peace.
later.